Mercury. Mercury is the
Your plat.
closest planet to the sun, but if you think that means it's hot all the
Okay.
time, you're wrong. At night, temperatures can plummet to an icy minus 180
How does that
degrees
even make
Celsius.
sense
During the
though?
day, however, they can skyrocket to 430 degrees Celsius. This extreme imbalance
Damn.
happens because Mercury doesn't have a proper atmosphere to
Okay,
regulate
that
temperature.
makes sense.
Instead, it has a very thin exosphere, which doesn't maintain heat. While apart
Okay.
from temperature, you wouldn't
what
have
would
to worry about
happen
weather on Mercury. The real dangers
if I
come
was
from
living
solar
there?
radiation and the lack of breathable air. In fact, Mercury gets almost 7 times the solar irradiance that Earth receives. As the smallest planet in the solar system, Mercury is full of craters, cliffs, and bumpy terrain, making it a
Why?
pretty tough place to land as well. The low air
Why?
resistance doesn't help either. It would make slowing down a spaceship much harder, increasing the chances of a high-speed crash. Landing during the daytime is out of the question because of the
Womp
extreme
womp,
heat.
little
The
nigga.
latest NASA spacesuits can
Just build
only
some
handle up
technology
to
for it.
121 degrees Celsius, nowhere near
Damn.
Mercury's daytime temperatures of 430 degrees Celsius. Plus,
Shit.
keep in mind that
Yo, bro, why don't niggas just like make suits like out of diamond? You feel me? Cause if a nigga made suits out of diamond, diamond's the hardest metal. That means like it just wouldn't break.
Good job.
Like, no, imagine that though. Like, you know how there's carbon fiber, bro? What if niggas could make carbon diamond? In a real way though, gang. What if niggas could make carbon diamond? Nigga, flexible diamond fabric? That would be the toughest material ever. Am I tweaking though? Like really think about that shit, gang. Really think about that. Carbon diamond would be like OD hard. Like, everybody would wear carbon diamond. So we being stupid as fuck? Nah, bro. Like, in a real way though, that makes sense.
Mercury's day lasts about half a year due to its slow rotation. Nighttime isn't much better. Temperatures of minus 180 degrees Celsius far exceed NASA suit's lower limit of minus 157
So
degrees
niggas would just
Celsius,
freeze to
so
death
you'd
or
still
burn to
freeze.
death.
Your best bet would be to try landing in the Terminator zone, the area
Okay.
between day and night where temperatures are more moderate. Even there, however, it can be risky, as temperatures can change relatively quickly. Venus. Venus is the
Wait,
closest...
so it's just clip? A nigga just gonna die? So there's no solution to landing on Mercury. Well, damn. RIP ever discovering Mercury, I guess.
planet to Earth, sitting just 40 million kilometers away.
Bro,
this
definitely
means
got
the
that
journey
Bronx
there would be
education.
relatively
Talk about
short,
some
about
diamond
4
suit.
months. Its size
Nigga,
and
I'm not
gravity
from
wouldn't
New York,
pose much
nigga.
of a
I'm from
problem,
Georgia.
as they're pretty similar to Earth's. The first
fuck?
real issue you'd face, though, would be
The
those
fuck?
beautiful yellow clouds you'd see as you approached the surface. Unfortunately, they're made of sulfuric acid, a highly corrosive substance that would destroy your lungs in seconds. But
Damn.
let's assume you've got a
So
spacesuit
the nigga
advanced
just gonna
enough to filter it out. As you descend to the
suffocate
surface,
to
you
death?
notice visibility dropping drastically. The atmosphere becomes incredibly thick, made mostly of carbon dioxide, so you wouldn't be able to see much. Then there's the heat, an unbearable 450 degrees Celsius. If that wasn't enough, only about 10% of the sunlight reaches the surface, as it's blocked by the thick atmosphere, so it'd be pretty
Okay.
dark. On the surface, moving
be
your arms
dark.
and legs would be a serious struggle. Even though
Really?
gravity is nearly the same as on Earth, the air is so dense you'd feel like you're wading through a heavy liquid. With a good pressurized
Really?
suit, you might
I
last
feel
a
like
few
that would
seconds
be
down there, but
crazy though. Like, imagine just walking through air, but you feel like you're walking through water, bro. Like, that shit would be cool as fuck until you start dying from all the poisonous gas corroding your lungs. Yeah. Yeah. But now that would be cool as fuck though.
before long, the pressure, about 92 bars compared to Earth's 1 bar at sea level, would crush your suit.
Damn.
And if that didn't kill you, the sulfuric acid you'd start breathing once your suit broke definitely would. Mars.
Damn.
Mars is the second
Well,
closest
fuck Venus too then, I guess, bro. We can't go nowhere. Shit.
planet to Earth, and the most habitable of all 8 planets. Daytime temperatures are much less extreme compared to Mercury and Venus, reaching up to a relatively comfortable 20 degrees Celsius. However, the real challenge comes at night, or in certain parts of the planet, where temperatures can drop as low as minus 153 degrees Celsius. Another big issue, similar to Mercury, is Mars's incredibly thin atmosphere. It's mostly made up of carbon dioxide, with only trace amounts of oxygen, meaning there's not that much breathable air.
Yeah, we'll have to wear masks and shit all the
also
time.
results in low pressure and high levels of radiation exposure, both of which are incredibly dangerous. The average natural radiation level on Mars is 24 to 30 rads, which is about 40 to 50 times the average on Earth. On top of that, Mars experiences frequent and extremely violent dust storms, with wind speeds reaching up to 100 kilometers per hour. These storms can pose serious challenges.
Gang, I ain't gonna lie. When I was in PCB, Florida, bro, and I was on the beach, nigga, it was windy as hell. Like, I think it was like 30-mile-per-hour winds. And bro, when I tell you that the sand was hurting like hell, bro, that shit was hurting, bro. Like, you can only imagine if that shit is double that in the goddamn dust storm where it's nothing but dust. Nigga, you're going to get cut the fuck up, nigga. You're gonna die. That shit is scary.
So any attempt at habitation would require a sustainable, airtight, and well-insulated life support system. Jupiter is the biggest planet out of the 8, and it's one of the hardest planets to land on, primarily because of its extreme radiation levels. Even 300,000 kilometers away, the radiation would start penetrating your suit and you'd be done for.
Damn.
But since that's a boring outcome, let's assume you have a hypothetical suit that can block the radiation. Jupiter's gravity is 2.4 times stronger than Earth's, meaning you'd be falling incredibly fast. As you enter the first layers of the atmosphere, you'd encounter white clouds made of frozen ammonia crystals with temperatures around minus 150 degrees Celsius.
I don't even know what ammonia is.
The winds here are no joke, reaching insane speeds of up to
300-mile-per-hour winds. Holy shit!
If you manage to descend about 150 kilometers through these top layers, you'd reach the deepest point ever explored. This is how far NASA's Galileo probe got back in 1995. Beyond this point, things start getting darker, and both temperature and pressure increase rapidly. Just as a fun fact, the pressure near Jupiter's center is estimated to be about 100 million times Earth's atmospheric pressure. After hours of falling, you might reach Jupiter's inner layers, where you'd encounter a supercritical fluid, a state that's not quite liquid but not gas either. Here, you'd kind of be swimming in this bizarre substance. If you continued further toward the center, you'd encounter metallic hydrogen, an extremely dense liquid that would trap you.
Bro, that actually sounds cool as shit. I probably sound like a fucking nerd right now, but like metallic hydrogen, like you talking about a gas that turns into a metal? That's cool as shit, I ain't gonna lie.
But if you somehow manage to get through that, you'd reach Jupiter's core, though we're not entirely sure if it's solid or not. The temperatures here would be about 24,000 degrees Celsius, roughly 4.5 times hotter than the sun's surface. Saturn is...
So Jupiter is clearly uninhabitable as well. It's a gaseous planet, and we're never getting there. We're never landing there. We're never going to explore deeper than whatever we already know, because clearly that's shot.
It's the second largest planet in the solar system, with an atmosphere primarily made of hydrogen and helium. The first challenge would be avoiding a crash with one of its 146 orbiting moons. Once you manage that, you'd encounter its iconic rings, which are made of debris from old moons, ice pellets, comets, and asteroids. Let's assume you're either an incredibly skilled pilot or your spaceship is indestructible, so you don't meet your end by smashing into space junk. As you approach Saturn's...
though, like, if space is actually real, bro, space is actually cool as shit. You're telling me there's literally floating rocks just orbiting a planet? You're telling me there's 146 moons compared to our one just orbiting another planet? And like, mind you, these are just rocks, bro. Like, not even just rocks, but like, these are just whatever the hell they are. But there's no life on them. Like, it's just an inanimate object. Like, space is so cool. Absolutely, bro. Like, if it's real, in a real way, though.
Equator, you'd witness an incredible spectacle of red and purple auras caused by highly energetic hydrogen in the atmosphere. However, this beauty comes with a catch. Hurricane-force winds blasting at speeds of around 1,800 kilometers per hour would make it nearly impossible to stay steady. Trying to enter from the North Pole wouldn't be any better. Up
yes,
there,
I did, bro.
You'd face a massive storm so large you could fit 2 Earths inside it. This region also has ammonia clouds, similar to Jupiter's, and temperatures that can plummet to a bone-chilling minus 250 degrees Celsius. As you fall deeper through the layers of clouds, the temperatures would start to rise again, eventually reaching 0 degrees Celsius. At this point, while the cold becomes less of an issue, pressure becomes your biggest enemy. It increases to levels...
I bet you if David Goggins went here, though, he would be like, it's all mental, bro. You have to overcome the pressure and the cold and the heat. It's all mental, game. Don't let the pressure of 6 million tons beat you, nigga. You're him. Don't let the negative 250 degrees Celsius temperatures freeze you to fucking death. Nigga, burn it away with your mind. Don't let the heat of 450 degrees Celsius burn your skin off, nigga. Push away the heat with your ice cold mentality. Cause you're him.
Comparable to the deepest parts of Earth's oceans. Continuing further, the
How old
gases
you- nigga,
around
you told
would
me you're
transition
16.
into a liquid state. If you somehow survived long enough to reach the center of Saturn, you'd encounter its molten rocky core, which is about 10 times the
Molten
size of
rocky
Earth.
core.
Temperatures here reach a scorching 11,000.
Bro, the whole time though, all this shit could be fake. Whole time, nigga, Saturn could not have this type of core.
700 degrees Celsius.
You the one
more
that
than
said that
twice
shit,
as hot
Brodowski.
as the
Don't get
sun's
mad at me,
surface,
gang.
With pressure roughly 1,000 times greater than Earth's. Uranus.
1,000.
This is where planets
Uranus.
start getting
I go. Yo, bro. Yo, bro. Yo, bro. Whoever named Uranus, bro, had to be high off something, bro. Had to be high off something. Because there's no way you're going to give a planet a permanent name and call it Uranus. Like, niggas is pull shit straight out of their ass and name the planet Uranus. Okay, bro. I'm 21. I'm a grown-ass man, but I'ma still laugh at that shit, gang, because that shit's funny, bro. That shit's funny. You gotta find the humor in the little things, man, or you gonna grow old and wrinkly and rock-like and be boring and shit.
really far from Earth, making the journey incredibly long. Uranus is one of the two
Uranus.
ice giants and the only planet in the solar system that spins on its side. It also rotates faster than Earth, with a day lasting just 17 Earth hours. By the way, being an ice giant
shit.
doesn't mean the planet is a solid ball of
Oh,
ice.
shit,
Instead,
bro.
it means it's primarily composed of elements heavier than hydrogen and helium. Like Saturn, you'd need to avoid crashing into its rings. Once you pass them,
Real
you'd
shit.
find yourself surrounded by toxic gas, and
Crashing
the
into the
temperature would
rings of
drop
Uranus
rapidly
type
to
shit.
below minus 200 degrees Celsius. This makes it the coldest planet in the solar system. If the freezing cold and poisonous atmosphere didn't get you, you'd descend through the first layer of the atmosphere. Here, things get even worse. The air
Damn.
becomes dense, and you'd be pelted by ice pellets. Eventually,
a big
you'd
ass
reach something
hailstorm.
truly spectacular, a rain of diamonds, driven by winds of up to 900 kilometers per hour. But once
Yo.
again, there's a catch. The pressure here
That
is
shit would
about
be
100
fire.
times greater than Earth's, which would ultimately crush you.
Damn,
Neptune.
so you dead as fuck.
Neptune is
No
the
chance of
second ice
surviving.
giant after Uranus, and its composition is very similar.
Yo, Brodowski, bro. Bro, I'm not.
The pressure here is about 100 times greater
Hey,
than
bro.
Earth's, which would ultimately
It is
crush
what
you.
it is.
Neptune. Neptune is the
It's the
second
second
ice giant after Uranus,
Uranus.
and its composition is very similar. Being the
Oh,
farthest
shit.
planet from the Sun, 30 times farther than Earth, it's incredibly dark. Like Uranus, Neptune is extremely cold in its outer layers, but the inner layers are intensely hot due to immense pressure and heat from its core. Matter of fact, its core is about 7,000 degrees Celsius.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
Damn,
Which is
that's
hotter
hot
than
as
the sun's
fuck.
surface. It also experiences the famous diamond
How
rain
is the
caused
core?
by
How is the core hotter than the sun's surface if the outside of it is cold?
I don't know.
How does that make sense, gang? How does that make sense? That just sound like
high
bullshit.
pressure breaking down methane and forming solid diamonds. Neptune's winds are among the strongest in the solar system, reaching
Oh, shit.
supersonic speeds. In
Damn.
many ways, it's basically a twin of Uranus, so there isn't much to add. If you like this
Nah, that's
video,
real. That's a real
subscribe
way,
for
though.
similar ones, or join my Discord to suggest another.
In a real way, though.
She said, Lucy, you so slick. She said, Lucy, you so slick.